Alright, so we're back, of course, to talk about some Final Fantasy VII Remake, and today we have a bit of a weird topic, I'd say, and it's about Cait Sith, and Cait Sith's very brief, very minor appearance in Remake, and how that apparently bothered people. So we haven't really hopped on Reddit to look for discussions and things to talk about, something we used to do quite a bit on the channel. It's been a while now. So I figured that's what we do, and I came across this particular post that talks about how this is kind of the out-of-place sequence for this person. Specifically, it says, the only thing that struck me as odd and out of place in Remake, Cait Sith's appearance. Of all the places and times for him to show up, having it during the Platefall was a weird choice. For me, it took me out of the moment completely, and from reactions I've seen of first-time players, it leaves a what the fuck. The whole scene in the OG was much more haunting to witness with no music, just the screams and destruction being heard to fade into the president just casually watching the opera in the background. So first off, half of their post isn't even about Cait Sith, because the second part of it is about the President Shinra scene, which I agree in the original is a lot better. For starters, the remake version of that scene is just played out way differently, where it's almost like an action sequence. You have rock music going on in the background, President Shinra kind of smirking. The scene's a lot shorter with President Shinra versus the original FF7, but also with the original FF7 during Platefall, that whole cutscene, there's no music. You're just hearing people scream as they're fucking dying, and then it cuts to President Shinra up in the tower, and he's just listening to opera music, enjoying the festivities, essentially. It's very haunting. So I can certainly agree that the depiction of Platefall in the original FF7 is better in a lot of ways. However, the appearance of Cait Sith, I don't think is that big of a deal, and they're not even the only person. There's actually people within the replies that are kind of agreeing. For example, we have this comment right here that says, well, he is Reeve's on-the-spot eyes and ears, so it's not that far-fetched for it to be on the scene watching that big event unfold. To which November Riot replies, yeah, that's true, but 7R provides no context for that. Fans can be like, oh yeah, it makes sense he'd be there with it as an Easter egg. For someone who's never played 7 before, though, and coming into the remake blind, Cait Sith's presence was objectively the worst possible creative decision. It's a bold goddamn statement. First and foremost, just straight up disagree with that. Secondly, Remake is not meant just for new fans, or even just for old fans. It's meant for both. And if you're somebody that has played 7 Remake, which I'm assuming most of you have, and you have a deeper knowledge of the lore to a certain degree, there are countless things that do not make any fucking sense if you've never played FF7. Or if you're a brand new player and you're just hopping into the FF7 universe with Remake for the very first time, there's so many things you're not going to understand. You can still play the game, enjoy it, understand the majority of it if you don't know a lot about the extended lore. But there's still so many references and things to spin-off books and titles and things like that, right? That just won't make any sense to you unless you dive into the universe. So to harp on the appearance of Cait Sith, who is, let's not forget, a main party member in the original FF7, appearing a little bit earlier than he did, that's kind of weird. But also, did these people not actually play FF7 or Remake? It's within the lore as to why Cait Sith would be there. For starters, Cait Sith is controlled by the character of Reeve, a character who is actively within Midgar during Platefall. So obviously the avatar that he controls, Cait Sith, would be within the vicinity of him, something that he could use if he needs to. Secondly, when it comes to the remake story, Reeve is trying to actively prevent Platefall. We see an actual cutscene between Reeve, Heidegger, and President Shinra, and obviously President Shinra does not listen to him.
Please, Mr. President, I am asking you to reconsider. No, begging. The Sector 7 Undercity is home to more than 50,000...
Director Twisty.
At least let us issue a warning, sir.
The stench of the director's cowardice fills the room yet again.
Reeve. Progress requires sacrifice.
So Reeve wants to prevent death, right? He wants to try to save as many lives as he can. The thing is, he works for the Shinra company. He can't just run out into the streets and try to warn people that the plate's going to fall or be destroyed, right? So he has to control Cait Sith in that moment. And the way I've always interpreted this scene is that he's showing up, but he's showing up way too late, obviously. By the time he gets there as Cait Sith, it's already fucking destroyed, and he saved nobody. You'd have to play FF7 and Remake and not actually pay attention to not understand why Cait Sith would be there in that moment. I can't believe I have to explain it, because I understood it the instant I seen it on my very first playthrough. It made perfect sense. And look, I'm not trying to dunk on these people, but to me this is just some basic surface level storytelling, and I don't feel like it was out of place in the slightest. If we just want to use a different comparison when it comes to Remake, the ending. As much as I love Remake, the ending of Remake, the character of Zack, that is way more like out of place and way more jarring if you're somebody that doesn't really know FF7, because the Cait Sith scene is like 7 or 8 seconds. It comes and goes, like it's gone in an instant, and you don't even have the name of the character to even look it up to understand who it is. Whereas the ending, they put a shit ton of emphasis on the character of Zack, and none of it's going to make any sense. Like, if you're somebody that's not an FF7 fan, but you hop into Remake, you're going to know some of the characters, right? You know Cloud, you know Sephiroth because of pop culture, maybe even Tifa, Barret, Aerith, stuff like that. But you're not going to know this character. You're not going to know who the fuck Zack is. And you're wondering why they're putting so much emphasis on this character that you've not seen throughout the entire game. I don't think the ending of Remake is bad by any stretch of the imagination, but if we're going to compare the two scenes, the Zack segments and the one little tiny-ass Cait Sith segment, the Zack segment's way more egregious. I don't know how much more I can add to this. I just thought it was kind of strange that people thought that it was a bad scene, that it was kind of out of place, or that it was only just an Easter egg for like FF7 fans. Like, there's a point to it. It's not just showing you Cait Sith because you played the original and you're going to recognize him. There's a reason you're seeing Cait Sith arrive late to Platefall. There's a reason for it, for the character of Reeve. Now, certainly the scene does not make any sense if you haven't played FF7. You don't know that there's any sort of relation between this little cat person and the character of Reeve that you're seeing throughout Remake. So to a certain degree, it is just for FF7 fans, but I doubt that it's a scene, as brief as it is, that just ruined this experience for, newer players or whatever the case. It's just kind of ridiculous. That's pretty much the video, my dudes. Of course, I want to pass it off to you guys. So, when it comes to the Cait Sith scene in Remake, I don't think we've ever talked about it in this way. We've definitely discussed the scene quite a bit. Whenever you first seen Cait Sith come on screen when you're playing Remake, whether you're a new player or an older player, what were your initial thoughts? Either my dudes, that's the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, give a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you guys aren't want to see more Final Fantasy VII Remake content. Turn on notifications. Follow me on Twitter, @YT. I'm a Discord. Links to my networks are in the description. Into the outro. Later, guys.
Reeve.
That was a close one!
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Rogaine, or leave it like Cobain.